Hi guys, today we are discussing about top 10 underrated anime no one talks about, and they are really good. So at 10th. Cryed, number of episodes, 26. If you like kick-ass battle-based anime where people have unique superpowers, Cryed should be at the top of your list. These days shows like My Hero Academia are hyper-popular, but Cryed offers a grittier, more badass take on the idea, set a few years after a major geological disaster when people living in the Lost Lands surrounding Tokyo start developing powers. These alters can create unique personal weapons from surrounding matter and wreak incredible destruction. The native alters live in the Badlands, outside the reach of the official government. It is a little like the Wild West, where you can live free, but death is around every corner. Then, there are the government-sponsored alters who act as a superpowered police force, the ones who are in direct conflict with the native alters. Kazuma is one. It actually causes another calamity. We don't want to spoil where the show goes after that point, but Cryed doesn't always correspond to your expectations and remains a pretty fresh show many years later. 9. Legend of the Galactic Heroes. We've written about Legend of the Galactic Heroes a few times in other lists on TechNadu. And it's perhaps not as obscure as other titles here. Heck, the show even has a modern remake that's currently airing. That being said, we don't think the remake captures the charm of the original more than 100 episodes show. This is one of the most epic space operas in any medium. It's right up there with the likes of Dune, and it especially reminds us of galactic imperial conflicts by authors like Isaac Asimov and Robert Heinlein. There's definitely a streak of that Western sci-fi as written by the old masters. The central conflict in this show is between two massive powers. One is the Free Planets Alliance, and the other is the Galactic Empire. There's also a third player in the form of the Dominion of Phezon, which isn't a military player but a powerful political and economic force. In each of the two main factions are the young and brilliant commanders called Yang Wenli and Reinhard von Lohengramm. Both are essentially good men, just on different sides of the war. They have more in common with each other than they do with the twisted rulers they find themselves under. Legend of the Galactic Heroes has a realistic feeling to its conflict, especially the political dimension. It's a slow burn, but the battles and campaigns are often not what you'd expect. If you have any love for military anime or political shows, this is not to be missed. 8. Ergo Proxy. Number of episodes, 23. Ergo Proxy has a pretty dedicated fanbase, but the show never reached the height of Ghost in the Shell, which is perhaps its most direct rival. It's a dystopian cyberpunk story with beautiful animation, fascinating ideas, and impressive action scenes. If you're a fan of the aforementioned GITS, books by Bruce Sterling, or movies like The Matrix and Johnny Mnemonic, Ergo Proxy needs to be on your shortlist. Murders. What's worse, these murders have been perpetrated by the very androids meant to protect and serve what remains of humanity. The droids are going nuts thanks to a virus nicknamed Cogito. Yes, that's a reference to Descartes. Ergo Proxy is heavily laced with philosophical ideas, so if that's your thing, you're in for an even bigger treat. Our heroine Riel is tasked with investigating these murders and getting to the bottom of them. Like every other human in the city, she was lab-grown to fulfill a specific function in society. In her case, she's essentially law enforcement, but investigating this case uncovers more than Riel could have imagined and upends everything she thought was true about their world. 7. Archenemy and Hero, Maoyu. Number of episodes, 12. Here's another show based on a light novel that doesn't get talked about in anime circles enough. Maoyu tells the story of a demon lord and the hero who's meant to defeat her and how they team up to slowly transform the world into a better place. The show is very slow-paced and focuses quite a lot on topics such as politics, economics, and the correct way to raise crops. Yes, you read that right. The anime adaptation of Maoyu is only 12 episodes long yet still manages to feel quite sedate. In many ways, the show reminds us a bit of Spice and Wolf, another anime that's a mix of romance and economics. If you like a slow-paced, more cerebral anime, Maoyu is definitely a show you shouldn't overlook. It's weird to describe a story set in a fantasy world full of magic and demons as grounded, but that's the vibe Maoyu gives off, and it just works in this particular case. 6. Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions. Number of episodes, 12. While the stereotypically isekai characters are often overpowered and treat their new world as a playground, some isekai anime take a more brutal and grounded approach. The best mainstream example is probably Re:Zero, where the main character is very much not having a good time. However, We think Grimgar is probably one of the most realistic depictions of what it would actually be like if a bunch of modern schmoes suddenly found themselves in a medieval fantasy world. Life would be brutal, and magical monsters and creatures would certainly be incredibly dangerous. Grimgar is almost like a fantasy isekai crossed with the grim brutality of Westeros from Game of Thrones. The story starts with a part of novice adventurers who undergo grueling battles for a guild. They need to earn enough money to eat and have a roof over their heads. It turns out that these novices are probably from modern-day Earth, but they have no idea how they got to this harsh new world. Grimgar quickly shows us that even lowly creatures like goblins can make short work of a human, and that lesson is written in blood and grief. Yeah, this isn't the show you want to watch to lift your spirits, but it's definitely worth watching if you enjoy grimdark drama. 5. Tonari no Seki-kun. Number of episodes, 21. Tonari no Seki-kun is an anime adaptation of a manga series by Takuma Morishige. Each episode is only a few minutes long, yet each one is packed with a rather clever gag. It centers on two students, Rumi and Seki, and how Seki comes up with the most creative distractions. As much as Rumi tries to ignore whatever wacky thing Seki is trying to do, she inevitably gets pulled in. It's a great little show that doesn't take up too much of your time, and it's a great character piece. The best part, however, might be the amazing outro sequence which you absolutely should not skip. 4. Great Teacher Onizuka. Number of episodes, 43. Great Teacher Onizuka, or GTO, as it's known, was a fairly popular show back in 1999 when it first aired, but we don't really see anyone talking much about this brilliant show anymore. Not only is it a fantastic example of 90s anime visual design, but it also remains a fresh take on school-based anime to this day. The main character is Ikechi Onizuka, a legendary former bike gang member, and martial arts expert who decides to pursue a job as a teacher. After getting his teaching diploma from a third-rate college, he goes job hunting. Through a series of lucky breaks, Onizuka gets a job at a fairly prestigious school and starts his career. However, not everyone is happy with this unusual appointment. Both students and some fellow teachers constantly plot to oust Onizuka. Through it all, he uses his unique, and perhaps dim-witted, approach to solving the problems of the people around him. GTO is funny, endearing, and Onizuka himself is an incredibly entertaining character. If you get the chance to watch this classic, don't let it pass you by. 3. Rage of Bahamut, Genesis. The story first starts off around Favarleon, who is a bounty hunter, collecting money off of bounties he collects, demons. Favarleon soon runs into Amira, who has no clue what is really going on besides the fact that she must go to Helheim, a place where she can go meet her mother. Favarleon is then dragged onto this whole quest with her because she had cast a contract spell where he now has a demon tail end, and the only way to get it off is by completing his side of the deal. 2. Claymore. Number of episodes, 26. Claymore is a 26-episode adaptation of the fantastic manga, which aired all the way back in 2007. Sadly, it never got a continuation on screen, but what we did get is a brilliant and underrated anime. The story follows a woman named Claire, who is one of the titular claymores, humans who have been infused with the blood of Yoma, the shape-shifting monsters that they are meant to hunt. Claire is one of 47 claymores and ranked 47th. At the start of the story, she rescues a young boy named Raka, who becomes her travel companion. As the story rolls on, the mysterious Claymore organization and Claire's uncomfortable relationship with them unfurls. The actual Yoma and Claymore battles are the real stars of the show. The concurrent flashback story is compelling as you learn more about the true intentions behind Claire's actions. Claymore offers some top-tier characterization, plot and voice acting. Don't miss an opportunity to see it. 1. B. The Beginning. Genius investigator Keith Flick rejoins the Royal Police Force, REES, just as serial killer B emerges and commits a double murder. Mysterious youth Koku may be an ally of the groups, or a target. When the REES investigates a death that appears to be linked to B, Keith disagrees with the crime being connected to the criminal mastermind. An attack on a member of the REES leads members of the group to suspect a traitor within their ranks. After being declared a murder suspect, Keith turns himself in. Koku is forced to fight for his survival. Thank you, that is for today. Subscribe for more anime updates.